Hi friends, it's Grace and welcome back to another video. My apologies for not having any videos last week. I just had some circumstances, like I was away for the weekend visiting friends and then I was sick for a bit, so just combined to unfortunately not be able to film or edit, but I'm back the following week, I guess. Like, I'm filming this, you're gonna see it in a couple days. So we are gonna talk about my March reading plans because based on my video schedule, I wanted to get this out a couple of days before the month starts. And so with February being a short month and also a busy month, I already know that I'm not gonna be finishing my February TBR. So got a bunch of exciting things that I'm ready to get into in March, but I also have a couple of books that I already know I'm gonna carry over from this month to next month. However, the very first thing I'm gonna do, same as I did last month or for the past couple, is I'm going to pick a book out of the jar for my Reading Booktuber's favorite books, because then I will have my entire TBR, I will know what's coming up, and I'll be able to talk about all of them. So, this is my lovely little Cottage Springs cup, and this is where we are going to get my book pick from. And I'm kind of nervous because, like, it's been a few months and I remember what's in here, but I don't remember everything that's in here. So it could be anything. Okay. Ooh, okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this is a big book, so I'm not gonna say it changes my reading plans. Well, it does, because I know I'm gonna read this. But we have The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington, and this was given to me by Petrick. So, I mean, I still have my reading plans for March, however, it does mean that I'm adding a chonky one onto there. But this has been on my TBR and on my Kindle for quite a while, and like, I was and still remain to be really interested in it. It just never happened. Like, it was one of those books that I never picked up, and I think it primarily is because I own it on Kindle. I've said before, I have like an object permanence problem, genuinely speaking, where I just forget a lot of the times about books that I own on Kindle. So, yeah, so thank you so much to Petrick for putting this in the draw. And yeah, I will be reading and vlogging The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington in March. So seeing as I have the ebook of this, I obviously can't pick it up off of my shelf and hold it up, but I'll put the cover up and I will have had it up since I drew the name. So that's exciting. I'm really glad to know what that is. It definitely helps me to plan. And now that we have that aside, let's talk about the things that I already knew were on my TBR. Okay, so let's start with the things that I had on my February TBR that I am pushing to March. So first up is gonna be Best Served Cold, the first of the standalones in the First Law universe. And I did say, I believe, when I did my TBR last month, that I was planning and hoping to read this in February or March. So even though my goal was to read it in February, I knew that I was just hoping within the next few months to get it done. So I'm fine with it being pushed a little bit, and I am looking forward to it. And so this is a bit of a chunky one too. So hopefully I'll be able to get to this towards the beginning of the month. The second book that I'm pushing, and this is a nonfiction, is Chernobyl Prayer by Svetlana Alexievich. And so this is an oral history or an oral chronicling of interviews that she conducted with people who had been impacted by the Chernobyl disaster from 1986. And so I'm really, really interested in this one. I originally picked it up because it was published in 1997 and I was looking to read some books that interested me that were published in the year I was born. But I would have been interested in this anyway. That was just how I originally came across it, was when I was looking for books published in 1997, but I think that this sounds amazing and powerful, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So next up, we're gonna get into books that are new and fresh for the March TBR. And ironically, in saying that, only one of these is actually like new. The rest of them are continuations of series. So obviously I haven't read them yet, but it's not like I'm branching out in a new direction. I'm continuing series that I'm really enjoying. However, the one book that does not fall into that category is an arc, and I was so kindly approved for this on NetGalley. I was really excited about it, and that is Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. And so this is her new 2023 release that is coming out on April 11th. So like I said, really looking forward to reading that one. I have it on my Kindle since it's like an electronic arc from NetGalley, and I will be reading it in March for sure because of the April release date, and my plan is to do a review of that to go up on release day, which is what I've done with arcs in the past, and is what I think like really works for me because I don't want to read it too soon beforehand, and I do like to put that review out on release day just so that other people can get an idea of like what my feelings were on it, if you're interested in that, and if it's going to affect whether you pick up the book. So that is an exciting prospect. And then the series continuations, I mean, it is what it is. I've already been reading all of these series on the channel this year, so let's get into it. As we speak, I am not finished with A Clash of Kings. To be quite honest with you, I've been taking it slow while I read other things at the same time as it, because I know I love that book, I know I'll enjoy it, and I'm just enjoying it, like I'm just reveling in it, like I'm enjoying it. So the next book, of course, is A Storm of Swords in this series, and I don't think that the read-along has a super tight schedule. I think that it's either a month or slightly more than a month for each book. It may even be like 5 to 6 weeks, and I really appreciate that because I don't want to rush through these. Like I was just saying, like I'm looking forward to doing the same thing with A Storm of Swords that I am currently doing with A Clash of Kings, and this is another one where I know that I'm gonna love this. I remember the second and third books being my favorite, and so whenever I'm finished with Clash of Kings, I will just start Storm of Swords and do the same thing, take it slow, and enjoy myself with it. Then, next up, we have a book that is the sequel to my February reading booktubers favorite books pick. And so that was The City of Brass, which was recommended to me by Stephanie, and I am going to be doing that video about City of Brass because I have read it and I have vlogged it, but I have not filmed that video yet. I am going to have Stephanie be a part of it, and so hopefully I will get that all together next week. However, The Kingdom of Copper is the next book in that series, and I won't spoil my thoughts about City of Brass. However, I am really excited to continue on. And I'm really glad that I already have this next entry in it because for a while I was very torn about whether or not I should purchase this because I hadn't even read City of Brass. And then someone actually gifted it to me, and I will definitely be picking up The Empire of Gold sometime soon, assuming that I enjoy this, which I'm sure that I will, but this is the next continuation of series that I was referring to. And then the final one, where it seems like I'm always one book ahead of myself just because of when I actually film my TBRs, which is just slightly in advance, and I've been reading these books at the very end of the months so far, but that is The Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons. And so I read The Ruin of Kings and I really enjoyed it, and so the February installment is The Name of All Things, and so I'm currently reading that, but honestly I just started it yesterday, and so I'm not very far in, but I am already very much on board for the storylines that are being introduced in the start of the second book, and so I do plan to read the third book in March, although it will likely end up being towards the end of the month just because of how my schedule with them has been falling. And not that I wouldn't want to jump straight into the third one after finishing the second one, because I'm sure I would enjoy myself if I did. However, obviously I have other books planned, and it just makes the most sense to me to spread them out a little bit. I'm still doing one a month, but they can just fit towards the end of the month. And you know what? I don't think I've actually talked about Ruin of Kings yet because I finished it at the beginning of February rather than the end of January. So that will be featured in my February wrap-up, which hopefully I will also get all sorted out next week. I love to put things on future grace, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that next week. We'll see how I feel about that next week. Hopefully it works out. But we have lots of fantasy in March, lots of big books. I may try and break it up. I have some shorter little books like on the literary fiction side of things that I'm not putting on my TBR and I'm not putting in my plans because I don't want to commit myself to like anything more than this already that I have. But we'll just see how I feel because I obviously love and adore fantasy, but this many big books could cause me to want to slip something else in there and break it up. And Chernobyl Prayer could serve that function as well. But we'll see how I'm feeling, and hopefully I will be able to get all of these finished. So with that said, that is going to be it for my March TBR. I am really looking forward to all of these books. Let me know what you think of them in the comments down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. I do my best to post videos on most Mondays and Thursdays, but of course sometimes life happens. So subscribe if you enjoy my content. It's always greatly appreciated. And as always, I will have my Discord with Ben, socials, and anything else linked in the description if you're interested in any of that stuff. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!